at the age of 60, your father dared to take a dream of the Bagla Group.
This is truly a story of the second innings. So my father was always wanting to do something which would, he always told, do what you want, but never let the trust in the people go down. This was the biggest mantra that we got. I had created a loss-like situation in my Raipur business, which we had to close. My father suddenly came to Raipur and said, stop all this and come and work with me to Aurangabad. So that was a very challenging period for me personally.
Since you've given a lot of freedom to your daughters and do whatever they want to do, did you get criticized by your circle or family?
Each person should have the right to choose his path in life. My father trusted me with my decisions. I trust my children with their decisions.
You follow Ramcharit Manas a lot. So what's the biggest thing that the book has taught you?
Dharma always wins. The basic purpose of business is to serve the society. Profit comes after.
And what's your dream project?
Every project that you start is a dream.
Who inspires you the most?
My father.
Wow.
This is what is very important to understand in life, that the right person should be sitting in the chair to manage the business. If you push a person who is not interested in doing the business, he will only bring it down. When my father expired in 2009, that was the time when every single person was testing me for my worth. And that was the time when my partner from Italy, he just told me one thing, Rishi, just do one thing at a time. And that has helped me a lot. My message to the parents would be, please do not force the children to do something that they don't wish to do. Never ever try to possess something. They should teach them the art of detachment.
Colonel Sanders built KFC at the age of 65. Our very own Sri R.N. Bagla rebuilt everything at the age of 60. Today, we uncover the story of his son who kept the fire on and has built the legacy beyond the surnames. नमस्कार दोस्तों, वेलकम टू द मेघास शो। आज हम बात करने जा रहे हैं एक ऐसे विजनरी लीडर से जिसने फैमिली मैनेज बिजनेसेस को एक नया ब्लूप्रिंट दिया है। आज के इस एपिसोड में हम डिस्कस करेंगे कैसे एक फैमिली मैनेज बिजनेस को प्रोफेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट में रन किया जा सकता है, हैप्पीनेस का असली मतलब क्या है, रामचरित मानस जैसी स्पिरिचुअल टेक्स्ट कैसे एक मॉडर्न एमडी के लिए बोर्ड रूम की गाइडेंस बन सकती है। आज हमारे गेस्ट हैं मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर ऑफ बागला ग्रुप, चेयरमैन CII वेस्टर्न रीजन 25-26, एक लीडर जिन्होंने लेगेसी को रीडिफाइन किया है, मिस्टर Rishi K. Bagla. So Rishi sir, welcome to the TMS.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. We are honored to have you. Sir, we'll go back to the journey, how the Bagla Group started. So at the age of 60, your father dared to take a dream of the Bagla Group and he started. जब हर कोई रिटायर होने की कोशिश में होता है. So what was the thought behind it, sir?
This is truly a story of the second innings. Like we were a joint family in Calcutta, and in 1984, it was decided that our family would part ways. And as a result, we were left with no business because the business that we had was gutted in fire. And as a result, we had to start something absolutely afresh. And with the family partition, as you know, in a joint family, there's always a lot of things and there's no individual recognition per se. So my father was always wanting to do something which would, sort of create value in his life and create value for the family also. And that was one of the reasons why he chose to come to Aurangabad, or now CSN, with this opportunity that he got to set up as an ancillary to Bajaj Auto. And he set it up all by himself. Not coming from an engineering background, he chose a subject which was very, very highly technical requirement. And as such, it was a very challenging time at that time, but he did it very successfully. And today we are where we are.
Wow. And what value did you inherit from him?
Oh, there's a lot of values that he gave me. One of the things that really stands out, he always told, do what you want, but never let the trust in the people go down. So that was one of the things which always kept us going, and we always felt that this was the biggest mantra that we got, and we never deviated from this. And as a result, whenever we needed any support, the customers, the vendors, employees, government, society, banks, everybody was out there to help us because every business goes through ups and downs. We also went through ups and downs. But due to the support from all these stakeholders, we could swim through all those challenging times.
Wow. And what is over the years, what is the mindset that you have evolved from Bagla Group that started and from what Bagla Group is today?
See, the most important thing, when we started, we were a very small company. As a result, we were very, very focused on owner managed business. Over a period of time, as the business and companies have evolved, we have become a family owned but professionally managed business. And that has been one of the biggest mantras for the growth in the group.
Yes, family owned but professionally managed. So, sir, of course, when you took over, when you got into the Bagla Group, I think you joined after 3 years.
I started in 1989, whereas my father started in 1986.
So, were there pressures?
See, in business, there's always pressures. I was also coming from a situation where I needed to prove myself as well. And my father was doing reasonably well at that time when I came to Aurangabad. He had established the business and we were in the green, we were making some profits at that time when I had come here. But I had to prove myself because I had created a loss-like situation in my Raipur business, which we had to close. And my father suddenly came to Raipur and said, stop all this and come and work with me to Aurangabad. So that was a very challenging period for me personally because I had a lot to prove. And God has been kind. And the group together, both my father and I, we worked very hard to create what we have created.
And when you said that, you came from a loss-making business to your father's business, then of course that time there may be some employees, senior employees, who must be thinking, "Arey, young hai, how would he cope up?" So did you feel some internal pressures from the company
No,
that
it was
time?
simple. My father had a very simple rule. His son was never naturally the owner of the business. His son would have to go through the grind. So I was put under one of the senior managers to learn how to do the business the right way. So that was the beginning of my career in Aurangabad, working under one of the senior managers of the Bagla Group.
And when did you feel that, okay, finally the leadership sets on my shoulders now?
See, after 2 years, my father told me that you have to start your own factory. And that's when I started the new business on my own. And that was the time when the responsibility came on me on the profit and loss of the business and the execution of the business and the performance of the business. That was not really the time when I would say that I was the boss or I was the one who was deciding everything, because my father was the person who was guiding me throughout that period also. But that was the time when I felt that I'm responsible, because till then it was my father who was responsible because of that business. But subsequently, after 1992, when I set up that new company, that was the time when I felt I was responsible for the business that I was doing.
And when did you think that, from the family managed business to a professional setup, you will do that? When did you think that? Why did you do that?
So over a period of time, I realized that growth was the only way a company can survive. And when you bring in growth in a business, it cannot be a family owned and family managed business. You have to have very, very trustworthy people who are empowered sufficiently to manage the business. And as we grew largely during the period starting closer to the 2000s, that was the time when we started growing at a rapid pace. And we started professionalizing the business as well. And I found that having good professionals with you made a lot of difference, because your horizon also opens up a lot. when good professionals are there to discuss with you, guide you, work with you.
And during that shift, when you were doing, since you've given a lot of freedom to your daughters and do whatever they want to do, did you get criticized by your circle or family from within?
See, it is a very simple thing. Each individual is born as an individual, and freedom is their birthright. Each person should have the right to choose his path in life. And that's what my father believed in me also. And that's what I believe in my children. So it is coming from the generations. My father trusted me with my decisions. I trust my children with their decisions.
Wow. And what do you believe a true legacy is? Is it an institution? Is it impact making or something else?
See, true legacy is all about values. Most important is what is the value that your family talks about. As a family, my father very clearly described what not to do. What to do is easy to decide, but what not to do is the tougher part. So he decided what not to do in the family, and that made things easy. Because when what not to do is decided, what to do is much easier.
So, what did you learn? What not to do?
See, one of the things that we decided what not to do, as I said in the beginning, was about the values that, you cannot do anything which is going to harm anybody. Even if it is going to give you a big boost, but if it is going to harm somebody in the process, you need to understand that that is not what is the right thing to do. We always worked on ourselves. We never worked on others' weaknesses.
Mhm.
That was the strength in the group. We worked on our strengths. We didn't work on others' weaknesses.
Wow. Be your self competitor.
Absolutely. That was
Lovely.
very important.
So, sir, what do you feel that, today's world, especially the FMBs, are facing the challenge? Is it a unity or professionalism?
देखिए सबसे बड़ी चीज क्या है कि पुत्र प्रेम के कारण बहुत कुछ डैमेजेस फैमिली बिजनेसेस में होते हैं. We are not able to see through the limitations of the child, and we don't work on the limitations and give him the strength. We straight away give him the power. Like for example, if in the case of Mahabharat, Dhritarashtra had worked on the limitations of Duryodhan, probably Mahabharat would have been avoided. But that was not to be. He looked at his son to be the leader, and that's it, not understanding what were his limitations. And this is one of the learnings that we get from our businesses in our life, that ownership and management are two different things, and they should always be separated. Management should be done by the best man who can manage the business, whereas ownership is for the owners. This is something which is very important for family business to understand when to professionalize and when for the family to take a step back.
तो सर ये तो हो गया fathers के लिए. But what advice would you like to give to the successors?
See, successors have to understand two things. That there are certain values that the elders have left behind. Those values are very critical. And I always advise, where legacy is concerned, making of the business. Because every business starts small and then they grow to become big. Every family starts small, then they become to grow big. There has to be a legacy or somewhere some noting about the struggles that the company, that the family did to achieve what it did. Once it is there, the generations understand what struggles it took to make what they have got on a platter.
So, sir, coming to these struggles, if I may ask you, who inspired you to run FMB to a corporate?
See, there was a very interesting incident that happened in my life. I was running the business hands-on, and the business was running with me as an absolute hands-on manager. Owner also, but manager also. One of these days, I went to see the factory in the middle of the night. And the factory was closed because third shift was not working, so that was expected. The shutters were down as expected. The watchman was sleeping, expected or unexpected, but he was sleeping, but everything was in order. Nothing was amiss. That's when I realized that I trust my entire inventory in the factory on this watchman who here is sleeping comfortably. And I don't even trust a senior manager in my company to sign the check. That was the day I realized that it is high time we created checks and balances and authorized professionals to do what they are supposed to do. So, as a result, that day, my mind moved towards professional management and empowering the professionals much more than what they were. So, basically, what we feel that looking at the Tata Empire, where management is completely left on professionals and the family takes the basic principal decisions as a group together, but they do not interfere into the day-to-day management of the business, which is left of the professionals. And that is what is the very important for any family business management to understand.
Anything quirky you feel that we outsiders do, which an in-house person cannot do? That's why you can rely on the outsiders to get them on the board.
I do not know who's an outsider and who is not an outsider. In my language, in my parlance, everybody who works in the organization is an insider. And therefore, I trust all of them, every single member of my group, equally as if they were my family. So that for me, there is no outsider.
Wow, that's so amazing. So you follow Ramcharit Manas a lot. So what's the biggest thing that the book has taught you?
The biggest thing that the book taught me was, you may be God, but when you come into this world, you will face a lot of struggles, and you have to face the struggles bravely and overcome them. That is the biggest thing that Ramcharit Manas taught. Even Ramchandra ji, his entire life was fraught with challenges, but he faced every single challenge with complete sincerity, honesty, integrity, and he came out strong. Dharma always wins. That was the biggest message that I got from Ramcharit Manas.
Wow. And how do you implement that in your office?
The basic purpose of business is to serve the society. Profit comes after. Profit is a result of actions, and actions are not the result of profit. When profit is a result of actions, your actions have to be such that they provide delight to all the stakeholders. That being the customers, the vendors, the employees, the government, the society. This is a very important thing that should be followed. Providing delight to the society should be the basic purpose of business.
And how do you amalgamate your spiritual side in your corporate group?
It's actually a state of mind. And if you are spiritually inclined and if you feel that in your business you are honest to yourself and you are spiritually inclined, the entire thing comes automatically into the system. You feel like being forthright, direct, and honest. See, being honest has a very big advantage. You don't have to think what you say.
True.
Because you can speak your mind. Because that is what is the truth. So it makes it so simple that if you are true to yourself, your head, heart, and hand will speak the same language. And when you are ready to write down or commit what you are saying, this is what, for me, in business spirituality is all about.
Yeah. So apart from being internalizing, spirituality also teaches you detachment. So how does detachment come into the corporate sector?
Detachment to what?
Detachment, not getting attached to anything.
The purpose of business is to serve the society. The moment you look at it that way, there is no attachment. So if there is no attachment, there is no question of detachment. If you look at the purpose of society is to serve you individually, then the question comes that, okay, can I detach myself from that? If I'm serving the society, as long as I'm serving the society, I'm attached. The day I'm not serving the society that particular way, I'm detached. It's very simple. The purpose of the business has to be defined as service to the society.
But isn't it a very emotional thing when somebody is serving the society? You get emotionally attached that time. And suddenly, if you stop doing it, there will be a detachment.
No,
So,
not at all. Because, see, attachment comes when you want to possess something. And service to the society does not mean that you possess anything. So it's very interesting point you have raised. For me, I serve the society when I'm doing the business. So I don't possess anything. If I don't possess, I'm not attached. If I'm not attached, there's no question of detachment.
so with attachment and detachment, I would like to ask you, do you even plan to retire someday?
I don't know. My father used to define business in a very interesting way. He used to say the word business comes from the word busy. And whatever you are busy in is your business. If you are sweeping the floor, it is your business to sweep the floor because you are busy in it.
Yeah.
And business you own and job you do. Therefore, whatever you are doing in life, own it and do it as if you own that work. That was the mantra that my father gave me, and that has stayed with me always.
So you don't plan to retire?
So now the question of retire, if I retire from what? I'll be busy doing something. That will be my business.
So what do you plan to do if you say?
I might probably do some social work, which I'm doing right now as well, part of my life. I might involve myself in some traveling, a whole lot of world to see. So if ever I get time to do all those things and I feel the inclination, probably these will be the next destinations.
Wow. And what are your passionate projects in the social service that you're doing?
So, see, my wife runs a very interesting NGO, which is educating and motivating and mentoring the girl child. And they do a lot of mentoring of very, less privileged girl children. I am actively involved in an association called CSN First. Earlier it was called Aurangabad First. Now it is called CSN First. We work for the development of the city in ways more than one.
So how are you working in the development of the city?
So like right now we are doing one very interesting project called Marathwada Mukti Sangram. As you may know that Marathwada was independent on 17th September, 1 year later than India got independent, because we were part of the Nizam area. And very few people know that was a horrible time for this area. Incidents like Jallianwala Bagh happened here also, which nobody knows. The history of this area for independence was extremely cruel, and people had to go through a lot of sacrifices during that time. So this is one of the things that we have done is we have made 30 paintings of various situations during the Marathwada Mukti Sangram, how we got the independence from the Nawab of Hyderabad and from the Razakars who were representatives of the Nawab. And this is a very interesting story There has been a movie on that also, Hyderabad Mukti Sangram, and we were part of that. And we have made these 30 paintings displayed, and hopefully on 17th September it will be open to public.
Wow.
So this is one of the things that we have done, apart from various other initiatives. Like we have worked on cleanliness of the city, we have worked on the tree plantations, tree census, and many other projects we have taken up. And we'll continue to take up more projects. We are in the process of working with the municipal corporation for many, many new projects.
Wow. And what's your dream project?
There is nothing as a dream project. Every project that you start is a dream. So therefore, every project that I've done, and my life itself is a dream, because I cannot imagine from where we started and where I've reached. So it's a dream life. Whatever struggles may have been in between, but it's a dream life. So every single project has been a dream for me.
Wow. So coming back to the family managed businesses, there are some very bitter truths about it, which people don't admit. What do you think are those bitter truths that people should know, and so that they could admit what's happening?
See, first of all, in a family managed business, people must understand that there are some people who are making a lot of money and some people who are not making so much of money. But in a family business, all are equal. You never know. The one who is making the money is not the one whose luck is working in his favor. The one who's not making money, he is the lucky guy. So many a times when we see the separation happens and the guy who was not making money has gone way ahead and the guy who was making money has either stagnated or come down. We see a lot of such examples. That is because of a confidence that some people have that, oh, I'm the guy who's doing it. All others are useless. That's not true in a family business. The main mantra is all are equal. The karta must treat all the others at par.
At par, it's true.
And that is when the family survives generations.
So true that you जैसे बोलते हैं ना, पेरेंट्स के आंखों में दोनों बच्चे या तीनों बच्चे एक ही होने चाहिए.
तो वो जो करता होता है वो एक पेरेंट के बराबर ही होता है.
Yep.
चाहे वो बड़ा भाई है लेकिन वो पेरेंट के बराबर है और उसको सब लोगों को बराबर देखना चाहिए, चाहे वो खुद का बेटा.
Somebody's weakness might be his strength in something else.
Absolutely.
So in that case, how do you think that किसी का weakness है but उसका strength किसी और area में, how do identify that and ensure that they capitalize on his strength instead of continuously hammering कि अरे तुझे ये नहीं आता, तुझे ये नहीं आता?
This is the job of the karta.
Yeah.
This is really the job of the karta, to identify the best person. In any case, as I said, ownership and management should be completely separated. For management, the best person, the best manager should be employed. If he's a family member, so far so good. If he's not a family member, is not capable, then somebody from outside should come and take over the reins of the management.
Yeah, so emotional detachment.
Emotional detachment, as I said, the most important thing in life is to be detached. The more you attach means possessiveness. Yeah. Possessiveness is the beginning of the end.
Wow. What a nice thing that you said. Possessiveness is the beginning of the end. Ant hi arambh. Okay. So, in between all these things that you've been, what advice would you like to give to the kartas? How should they detach themselves and work towards the growth of not only the family, but even the weak member he feels is weak?
See, firstly, the family values should be inculcated. And whatever, if he is creating the family values, he must create the family values keeping in mind that all are equal. That is simply the first and foremost thing. Each and every, I feel that the karta has to be impartial and has to say that every single member is at par. And which is like, for example, I must say, if we again go back to Mahabharata, there was a Duryodhan and Yudhishthir, Duryodhan side, Yudhishthir side. But there was a Dhritarashtra and there was a Pandu. It was a joint family. Had that joint family decided to live together, there was no question of any Mahabharata. It would have been together we grow, together we survive, together we strive.
Yeah.
Imagine the kind of difference it would have had made. But for the egos, this happened. So, my message to the Kartas is keep the ego aside.
So true. Keeping the ego. Actually, it's the most difficult thing to do. But yeah,
If you are not possessive, you will not have an ego. Everything comes with attachment, possessiveness, in turn, ego.
and what, as a karta of your family, I would say, father to the daughters, what core values are you giving to them?
It's a, it's a life which must be led with happiness. Happiness comes when the people around you are happy. Provide delight and happiness to the people, to all the people around you, and that's how you will be happy. That's a single message that I give to everybody.
Stay happy.
Stay happy. And I'll give you a very interesting spiritual example that I always speak to my children. You see, the eldest member in the family is always Parameshwar. The next is Patriya. After that is Pati Patni. After that is Putra Putri. After that is Pautra Pautri. But why Bhai has not been called Pai? Why Behen has not been called Behen? Because right from God down to this is your responsibility. To the sisters and brothers is your duty. So there's a difference clearly defined between responsibility and duty. So when I say that Parameshwar is your eldest member and your creator, your parents are your elder to you and your creator, they would only be happy if you are happy. And you will only be able to serve the purpose of your existence if you take happiness as a responsibility.
Wow.
Happiness is not something which comes from automatically. Happiness is something for which you train your mind. It's a state of mind. If we look at generally things, I cannot control any result, whether what has happened or what is going to happen or what is happening now. I cannot control any result, but I can control my state of mind. This is my message to all the children. Please control your state of mind, and your state of mind should be to be happy in whatever given situations.
Wow. And coming to controlling the state of mind, you might have got betrayed sometimes because you do a lot of JVs. Has that ever happened?
No, never. It's very simple. JVs are the easiest thing to manage. Because the moment you say that ownership and management are two different things, management is left to the managers. So JV is about ownership. So why there should be a dispute? I've never had a dispute in my JV.
Nobody has ever come with a cheating mindset.
How will he cheat? Because the management is by the management team. He is owning, I'm owning. We are both owning. And we both intend to grow the business. And the business is being managed by a separate set of professionals who's working with both the teams. I have not come across anybody so far who has tried to cheat me in any of my joint ventures.
That's really nice because these days, even if you see Shark Tank or there are people who come with a different mindset. They come, take funding, and then they eventually don't work.
No, see, that's a different thing. Joint ventures are a different thing, and investing is a different thing. See, everything is about a perspective. Everybody, I believe this very strongly, that everybody is honest in life. Everybody has a perspective. That perspective can be different from mine. But still it is a perspective. If I respect and understand the other person's perspective, then there can be no dispute. The dispute begins when I do not understand the other person's perspective and I say that my way or highway. But if I understand the other person's perspective, there's no dispute. In any relationship, husband, wife, father, child, mother, any relationship, if you understand the other person's perspective right, you'll never have a dispute. You may agree to disagree, but
Yeah.
there'll never be a dispute.
But has there been ever a moment when you would have said somebody my way or highway?
I've never had to do anything like that. I don't remember having done anyway my way or highway, because generally I've always tried to put myself in the other person's shoes and tried to understand what is it that he wants to convey. Makes things easier.
Nice. So much to learn from you, Mr. Bagla. And who inspires you the most?
My father.
Wow. Just say something for him.
Well, uh, I have learned so much from him. Every single day, I remember him for his teachings, for his guidance, and for letting me be, letting me do what I want to do. It is most, I, despite the fact that I came after making such a big loss in Raipur, still I was allowed to be free and do what I wanted to do. I am completely indebted for the kind of freedom that he gave me in my life, and the freedom of not money, but freedom of choice, which is most important for every individual, to have the freedom of choice. And he gave me that.
And you've given it to your daughters.
I have tried my best to give it to them.
Lovely. So, so you're a second generation business owner in the business. But eventually, as we see that 70% of our GDP is contributed by the FMB. However, the second generation succession plan is just 30%. Is there something that, which we can do something about it? Why do people don't take up their own businesses?
See, I am of a very different opinion. As I said from the beginning, that ownership and management has to be delinked. If a family member is not interested in management, it should be handed over to the professionals. What has the Tata Group done? There's no family member as such who's managing the business today. The Tata Sons chairman is a professional. So, despite having family members but not interested in taking that seat, so there's a professional who's running the entire Tata Group.
Yeah.
This is what is very important to understand in life, that the right person should be sitting in the chair to manage the business. In my opinion, it is not necessary. If you push a person who's not interested in doing the business to do that business, he will only bring it down.
Yeah. So, do you think that the B schools in India should give some curriculum wherein they teach them on the FMB or on the legacy building?
See, there is a lot of things that we need to understand very clearly. The education system should definitely teach family members the values of family, the values of being together. Because family business means a lot more than just managing the business. Family business means ensuring that the business maintains the ethics and the values that the forefathers and the fathers set it up. That should be the most important thing that should be taught, the ethics and the values.
And since, as you know, that most of the times the first generation or the second generation, the fathers, I would say, kartas, they're generally very, very emotionally attached. And like you also said, they want their successors to take up to the business. And so if successor doesn't want to take it up, how should he convince his karta that, let's build a legacy and give it to the professionals?
See, this is something which is for the karta to understand and for the family member to understand, both of them. But ideally, ownership and management should be linked. If the person is right, willing, wanting to do it, he should be the one who should be doing it. For example, suppose I don't want to carry what my father set me out to for, but I want to do something else in business. Why should I not be allowed to do that and start my own business all over again? That is also family legacy. Why legacy has to be that what father started, the son must manage or the daughter must manage. The family legacies is not about managing the business of the father. Family legacy is about the values.
So true.
I look at it very differently.
See, we need different perspectives. That's why the Bagla Group is here. And there are some FMBs which are just declining despite of having done everything in life. So, yeah. And
I'll tell you what. The most important thing in family business is for parents, for the origin creator to create a book, as I said, or some sort of evidence which the next generation can understand and see regarding the creation of the group, the struggles, the challenges, so that they understand what it took to make the group and they don't have a right to destroy it.
That's also a legacy.
That's the legacy.
Yes.
That's the legacy.
So amazing. It just gives me chills. The very thought that, I don't think I've seen anybody creating that kind of book of legacy. Just that the biopics are created later on.
So biopics are created. Biopics are very individual. More than that, it's very important for people to understand the struggles it created to create the group. That itself is significantly very important as a family legacy, because that would be including the values, the culture, the challenges, how they overcame those challenges, what happened from some small to such a large conglomerate, how did they create? Those would be something to understand for the generations to come.
And are you creating one?
We are working on it. We are thinking how to do it, what we should be doing it. A lot of people have been telling me to do it also, and my family has been discussing on this topic.
And what would you name the book be, except for Bagla
Second
Group?
innings.
Second innings.
The
Wow.
start of the second innings. That's simple. The book is very. The story is about my father, not me.
Yeah. And even for you also.
For
it's a
me,
second
I
innings.
just carried a legacy.
Yeah.
But he created the legacy.
Lovely. So, sir, you're very active in CII as well. You're the Western Region chairman. So, how are you enjoying the stint?
It is a very enjoyable stint. It's a very important, and we do have some very, very critical and important areas which we work on, especially on the policy advocacy side, and on various aspects. There are a lot of committees that do a lot of very good work. As we speak, today is a day in Bombay. We are having a very big program on health tech, and very soon we are going to have a program on ESG and corporate governance. So there are very, very important topics that we discuss. Apart from the policy advocacy that we do with the government, we have a lot of centers of excellence in CII, which handhold industries to go scale up and go to the next level. We have got to name a few, on water, on agriculture, on manufacturing, on MSMEs, on skill development. We have got on entrepreneurial development, green building, so many centers of excellence which are providing a lot of impetus to the Indian industry.
Do you feel your contribution is also a serving society?
Of course it is. This is for the fraternity. Whatever we do in CII is for the entire fraternity. There's no individual benefit in this.
So, sir, we'll quickly move to a small fun session and I'll quickly ask you some questions in a rapid fire round. What excites you the most? EV tech, global outreach, or policy governance?
Whatever is relevant at the time.
So free flowing.
Absolutely. Whatever is relevant and important.
So, what's your most amusing guilty pleasure in office?
In office, um, to be with my team is not a guilty pleasure, but it's a pleasure. To be with my team, to motivate them, and to hear from them their success stories. That's where I get my maximum pleasure.
Wow. That's not a guilty pleasure.
It's not a guilty pleasure, but it's a pleasure.
So, what's your guilty pleasure?
I don't know what's guilty pleasure.
Maybe eating something.
I mean, I'm not much of a foodie. It's not important for me, but definitely little greedy on the result side, because for sure I would like to see great results, and my guilty pleasure would be that when I do hear that my company has done very well some time and we exceeded the budget, and I can't call it really guilty, but that's the pleasure I get in my office in terms of numbers.
And at home?
At home, see, I don't know what's a guilty pleasure, because yeah, at home eating sweets is something I love to do, and that's something I get scolded for.
That's what every wife does.
That's where we are.
So, is this a stress eating or just a happy eating?
No, happy eating. No, there's no stress eating. There's no stress. Happy eating.
Lovely. So, Bollywood or boardroom?
Any day boardroom.
Okay. So, if your leadership style was to be compared with some Bollywood actor and you would want him to play your role as Rishi Bagla, who would that Bollywood actor
Rishi
be?
Bagla.
So
Because
Rishi-
I don't associate myself to any Bollywood actor, because that's all fake. And I've had a lot of boardroom challenges as well in my life, and enjoyed that process, loved it. I would like to tell you one experience which I must mention. When my father expired in 2009, that was the time when every single person was testing me for my worth, because my father was the face of the organization and we lost him suddenly. And so that was the day when I sat on his chair, people were really challenging me and testing me, whether it was my unions, whether it was my customers, whether it was my vendors, or whether it was my investors. They were all challenging me and checking my endurance, how I would fare. That was the time when I used to have a lot of sleepless nights also. But at the same time, if I look back, that was the time when I learned the most.
testing time.
Testing times, hugely testing times, 2009, 2010, hugely testing times. And that was the time when my partner from Italy, we have a joint venture with an Italian partner, he just told me one thing: Rishi, just do one thing at a time. Don't try to do too many things at the same time. And that has helped me a lot.
I think you stay more focused when you do one thing at a time.
Absolutely.
And results come faster.
Absolutely. You're focused. And that was one of the messages that I got from him. And that has helped me a lot. So boardroom any day over Bollywood. No Bollywood actor can do anything what I have seen in my life.
So, should we expect some short movie by Rishi Bagla, on Rishi Bagla?
I'm very happy to be what I am and where I am. I don't want to become a Bollywood actor.
No, just that movie will be very inspiring for others, I'm sure.
Maybe someday, but I'm not looking at it.
You can keep it in the retirement plan. As you said, you want to remain busy, even if you say, okay, you're bye-bye to the boardroom. Lovely. So, sir, EVs or hybrids?
EVs any day.
And if you have to write legacy in one tweet?
Follow your instinct. Keep values in place.
Values, values, values. It's all about values for Mr. Bagla. Okay. So, one line for next generation.
Remember, we are all in this for serving the society, and our profit should come out of actions. Most important thing is your actions should have the purpose of serving the society.
So, sir, one message that you would like to give to those children who are lacking the passion in their business, but still being forced to be in the business and run the company.
I do not know whether I should give this message to the parents or whether I should give this message to the children. My message to the parents would be, please do not force the children to do something that they don't wish to do. At the same time, my message to the children would be, please listen to the parents, understand where they are coming from, and understand their perspective. Then take a decision what you want to do. After all, the decision should always be of the child.
Yeah, setting the child free.
Setting the child free.
So, apart from setting the child free, if you were to write a short course for the B schools on FMB, what would three key things you would write in it?
If there was something that the B school should be talking about FMB, it should be about understanding, firstly, to determine what not to do. Because that is very, very important. Nobody decides what not to do. It's very important to decide. Like, for example, my father gave a very clear-cut example to us. He said, we will never do anything which is going to be detrimental to anybody. So as a result, we never went into the hotel business because that would serve non-vegetarian food. So we must understand what not to do is very important for the generations. That is something very important. Secondly, I would say that please teach the youngsters to understand that everything is a perspective. The parents have a perspective. The business has a perspective. Everybody has a perspective. And everybody must respect that perspective. If you respect a perspective, there is never a dispute. No education institution is teaching about understanding and respecting the other person's perspective. Third thing I would say, never ever try to possess something. They should teach them the art of detachment.
Very deep. Very deep. So, sir, what is true happiness for you?
See, true happiness comes when people around you are happy. I'll give you a very interesting example. For me, the real happiness in business was not about my success. But I must tell you a very interesting point here. Three of our very senior executives started on their own after all the many years that they spent with us. And today, I'm very proud to say they're all running more than 500 crore business themselves.
500 crores?
Yes, they have their own businesses worth 500 crores. And the biggest happiness that I get when we meet and they touch my feet and say, it is your group and your teachings that has created what we have created for ourselves. And that is the value of, that is the happiness that I get.
Wow.
Is much more than all the money that I may have made in my life.
Wow. That's so inspiring also. Has that thought never come to your mind that, if they would have stuck on to your group, then your group they would have given a lot more to your company?
See, it's not about our group and about us. It's about the people. And I'm very happy that people who have imbibed so much from our group, so much from us, and learned so much from us are today such successful people. And that is what should be giving happiness to any person, when people have learned from you and grown as big or bigger than you.
Wow. That makes one a true leader. Hats off to you, sir, for the thoughts that you all have. Rishi ji, in between, you've done so many JVs so far. कुछ ऐसी स्टोरीज होंगी जो फनी भी होंगी या फिर एकदम इंसिडेंटल होंगी. anything you would like to share?
मैं बहुत सारे JVs में every JV that we have done has a story of its own. बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरीज रही हैं. एक पर्टिकुलर JV है जो ताइवान में हम लोगों ने किया. हम पहले हमारा एक TA था एक ताइजीन इलेक्ट्रिक करके कंपनी के साथ में, तो हम वहाँ पे ताइजीन इलेक्ट्रिक के ओनर के साथ मिलने, both me and my father had gone to understand a little bit more about the technology. And at the airport, we found two people standing there with the placard Bagla.
Okay.
And we were surprised. एक तो मुझे मालूम था ताइजीन से आया, दूसरा कौन है? The other guy did not know how to speak English. He just said, "Boss wants to meet you." Now imagine in a foreign country, somebody, just unknown person at the airport says, "Boss wants to meet you." People would get scared.
They don't know you.
They don't know. They don't
And
know
you
us at
didn't know
all.
they are
And
coming
we
to
know
meet
them.
you.
They're coming to meet us. Nothing.
Oh.
And my father, the adventurous nature that he was, he said, "No, this guy, we go every time. This time we'll go with him."
अरे बाप
So
रे.
we went with this new guy who we had no idea about who he was, what he was. So we come to a place in Taipei, Xie, near the airport. And we get down and there's a one guy standing over there. And he just shakes hands of my father. Bagla, India, lean, JV, 50-50. And my father shook hands with him. Okay, lean, Bagla, JV, 50-50. And that was the beginning of one of our companies called BG Lean, a 50-50 joint venture with Lean Electricals. By the time we reached the second floor, the basic understanding of joint venture was established between Mr. Chang and my father. And it was after that we saw the product that they make and what was to happen. And the joint venture in principle was agreed and signed on a piece of tissue paper, which became the basis of the final joint venture agreement that was signed between the two companies. Such interesting stories have happened. And today also, we run that company. Mr. Chang became old. He wanted to exit. Now the company belongs to the Bagla family completely. And my daughter manages that company.
Wow. So that means when the handshaking happened, 50-50 Bagla, nobody knew what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was the product?
What was the product? The initial shake hands, we did not know anything.
Oh.
But my father was very adventurous. And he used to like to take this kind of challenges. Similarly, a very interesting joint venture happened in Italy when a very large company from Italy was scouting for a partner. And they had rejected most of the offers from very large Indian companies. And they had come, one of their executives had come to see our factory also. And he had liked it and he said, okay, Mr. Marco Bonametti, the owner of the OMR company, is waiting for you in Italy. So please come. What Marco tells me today, as in, his impression, he said, when your father walked into the room, I felt my father was walking in.
Oh.
And he said my mind was made up that the joint venture was done. Incidentally, I asked your father, what is the value of the business that we will do the joint venture? Because he was buying into 50% of an existing factory of ours. And he wrote a figure in his hand. And before my father answered, and then what my father answered and his figure perfectly matched.
Oh.
So he said there was no question of a joint venture not to happen. So immediately on that day, the principles of the joint venture was signed. A company like OMR, which is one of the largest automotive component manufacturer for various companies in the world, very well known, entered into a joint venture with us agreement was done in less than 24 hours. So this is the kind of opportunities that we got. This is the kind of joint ventures they did. And this is the kind of confidence that my father exuded in the people, which is what is very, very important to understand. That, how you come across, your honesty, your truthfulness and your integrity speaks volumes.
Wow. Any incident that you recall, कुछ एकदम funny हुआ हो life में, and you still remember कि अरे how can I do this, और मेरे साथ ऐसा क्यों हुआ?
पहले मैं आपको एक इंसिडेंट ऐसा बताता हूँ जिसने मेरे लाइफ चेंजिंग इंसिडेंट थी. I was a very weak student. In class 5, I failed in many subjects, but the teachers saw potential and I was promoted to class 6.
ऐसे ही.
ऐसे उन्होंने मुझे कि भाई वो कर लेगा. Class 6 में, class 7, class 8, I was a very, very average or below average student. In class 9, a simple class test happened, and incidentally, this is how God plays the role. Incidentally, I was the only person who answered the question right in the class.
Oh.
So the teacher made me stand in front of the class and made the whole class clap for me.
Wow.
That was the day when I felt that I can also do it. And that changed my life completely. Because it is very important to have that kind of confidence in everybody that I can do it. And that when that is missing, that is where you seem to be an average person. But when you get it, you excel.
Why do you think that happened? That would have happened that you were the only one,
It
despite
was
being
coincidental that I got the answer right and nobody else did. It was a difficult question, no doubt, but somehow I got it right. I don't know why it so happened, but this was a classic example of motivation by a teacher. A
Wow.
simple motivation can change your life, is what is my message to everybody. At the same time, I was the school volleyball captain and there was a debate competition. I still remember in my life that incident, that when I went on the stage, I forgot everything that I had thought. I had really prepared for that debate and I was wanting to really attack the opponents. And as soon as I went on the stage, that was the first time I went on the stage, I forgot everything. And I was almost like booed out of the stage. That was the beginning of my
you were booed out.
Yeah, that was the beginning of my stage. And that was the fright that was created in me. For many years, I could never talk to people and in large numbers in front.
Low on confidence.
Very low on confidence on this subject. Not low on confidence generally, but low on confidence when I had to address large gatherings. Slowly, I started speaking to my own company people. And one day my father came home and told my wife that now he can speak properly to people with confidence, and I'm proud of him.
Oh, it took you so many years.
Yes, it took me many years to be on the stage.
My God.
So it may have been more than a couple of decades. So that was again the point. My father's prompting, that change again gave me the confidence that I can do it.
Wow.
So many times, most important thing in life is to get that confidence that you can do it. And then you really are able to express yourself freely. And that changes your life.
And that's how you're mentoring your own people in the office as well.
It's always like that. Now speaking to people at large is a way of life.
Yes. We ourselves get so inspired by you. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. With this thought, I leave it on the viewers to actually think and do what is right and set people free. There is a lot to learn. I'm sure we will come back to you once again with something more. And today, I have learned, and I'm sure our viewers will learn, that legacy is beyond surnames. Legacy is about creating the institutions. Thank you so much for being with us, sir.
Thank you, Meghaji, for coming and doing this podcast. It was wonderful speaking to you.
Thank you so much, sir. KFC का चिकन तो शायद लोग भूल भी जाएं, मगर हमारे बागलास की स्टोरी कोई नहीं भूलेगा, क्योंकि ये स्टोरीज है बियॉन्ड द प्रॉफिट्स की. ये स्टोरी है लेगेसी की, परमानेंस की. मिस्टर बागला की स्पिरिचुअल डेप्थ, प्रोफेशनल अप्रोच और स्ट्रैटेजी फोकस्ड लीडरशिप ने इस एपिसोड को ब्लूप्रिंट बना दिया है फॉर द फैमिली मैनेज्ड बिजनेसेस, फॉर द बी स्कूल्स एंड फॉर द इंडस्ट्री.